Uh, okay, well, great. I'm happy to be here today with you, Ben. And my name is Celie, for all of you listeners. I am with the Flybook. The Flybook is a reservation software built specifically for outdoor recreation operators. So rental units, outfitters, adventure parks, or adventure resorts. We supply the booking platform and the management software for you to run your business. So today we are here with Ben from Thomas, and he's going to introduce himself and talk a little bit about who Thomas is and then also what we're going to cover today. So, Ben?
Thank you. Hi, I'm Ben. I'm a UI UX designer at Thomas. We're a marketing software and services company specifically focused on the tourism industry, and we're based out of Missoula, Montana. And it's our goal and mission to help tour companies grow their business and grow their digital footprint through a wide range of services. And so we focus a lot on helping companies look at their websites, make improvement to the websites, build new websites. And so we know a lot of the struggles it is to build that digital footprint and build a website that gets people excited about the experiences that you offer and ultimately gets people to book.
Great. I'm really excited to hear kind of the takeaways that you're going to share with us today. And along those same lines, so that we can all be prepared for the main agenda of what we're going to cover, are two primary tests that you all can do and take away with to look at your own businesses and your own websites and how to make adjustments to capitalize on that buyer experience. So those two tests are going to be a TAT test and a buyer journey test. And we'll just jump right into it. Ben, I'll let you take it away so we can start learning.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, as Celie mentioned, we've got two tests that you can do to just help you gauge where your website's at. Sometimes it can be hard to understand, is your website still up to snuff? If you've maybe made your website 10 years ago, is it still standing up in the competitive landscape of things to do? And so the first thing is we can't underestimate the value of your website. It's the place that people are oftentimes doing their direct point of sales, where they're booking these experiences. It's where they're meeting your business for the first time and understanding what you do and why they should care and be interested in the experiences that you offer. It's your customer service in terms of, hey, can I bring my 5-year-old on this experience? And I need to know the answer to that question. So your website does a whole lot. And so you think about the time and care and attention that you might do to for your brick and mortar location. And we want to make sure that you're spending just as much time making sure that your digital footprint, which gets so many eyes on it, is performing to really accurately convey the experience that you guys are offering. And so that's the first piece, is can't underestimate the importance of the website. The second piece is, as we get into these tests, it's really important to put yourself in the mindset of your potential customer, putting yourself in that mindset of somebody that's coming to your website for the first time. And ideally, what can be tough is, you guys work within your business and work within your industry. You know it inside and out. You likely know your area incredibly well. And so it can be tough to understand, where are people getting tripped up on my website? Where are people not finding the right information? Where are people getting confused? And so it's really about putting your mindset of, who's that customer that's maybe coming to the area for the first time, is doing this experience for the first time. Let's say you're a whitewater rafting company out of Colorado, and you're putting yourself into the mind of a mom from Toledo with 4 kids that's coming to Colorado for the first time to do whitewater rafting for the first time. What kind of questions is she going to have? What kind of concerns is she going to have? Is she going to find an option and a tour and experience that fits her needs well from your website in a really easy and frictionless path? And so we're first getting into the mind of that user to make sure that we're trying to remove all the assumptions that we know about our business and about our area and about our experience. So as we move into this first test, what we call the tab test it is thinking about that just initial research phase. So again, we're that mom from Toledo. We're sitting down at our computer. We know we're going to Colorado in 2 months, and we need to find something great to do on a Saturday. And you heard from a friend, oh, whitewater rafting out there is great. Go whitewater rafting. So she goes on, she types into Google, she opens up the 10, top answers in terms of that Google search, and she's looking at, what's the tab, what's the website that catches her attention, because ultimately she wants to take those 10 tabs and cull them down to maybe 2 or 3 options to explore more. And so again, she's coming to your website. Hopefully you're one of those tabs. Hopefully your SEO is great, and you're one of those tabs. Are you making a great first impression? Are you making it clear to her, again, what you do? Why should she care? What's special or unique about you? And how do you purchase a tour? Do you make it easy to purchase a tour? And so we want to make sure that we're making that good of first impression, especially relative to our competition. And so you might have competitors that have great photos or engaging videos. And if you're using iPhone photos, or if your design is cluttered and you've got too much text, or your copy is overly wordy and confusing, you're going to make that bad first impression, and you're going to fail that person's tab test, and you're going to get exited out. So we want to make sure that we're making that right first impression. So a couple takeaways from that might be, improving your photography, might be improving the visual assets on your website. Ultimately, you're selling an experience, and are the visual assets really conveying what's great about that experience? It might be redesigning your website so that it's a cleaner experience. It communicates your offerings better. It might be updating your copy so that it's easier to scan, is more engaging. There's less giant blocks of text that people aren't going to read. And so all of that is, how do we make that great first impression within that first 15 to 30 seconds of somebody being on your homepage, especially relative to your, competitive environment?
Which I'm picturing like in a grocery store, when you're walking through aisles and you're looking for that one thing of barbecue sauce, you're competing against a large amount of immediate competitors. And if you don't jump off of the shelf in terms of your brand and the way that you're visually showing up on that shelf, then you're bypassed really quickly. And I think sometimes as tour operators, we don't necessarily think of ourselves as commodities, but experiences from a visitor, especially how easily and accessible you can be found on the web now, it is a commodity buying experience where they're just going out there and trying to choose the best one as quickly as possible.
The old saying, don't judge a book by its cover, but we know people judge books by their covers. And so it's the same thing for a website. It's the one that's gonna, look most appealing, have the nice bright colors and the fun imagery and, the attention grabbing headline. And you want to make sure that when somebody's judging you based on your website, that you are, catching their eye and getting them engaged.
Yeah.
So ultimately, as you're going through that process, that first step is, are you making a good first impression? And ideally you are. And, as somebody's going through their research phase of the process of figuring out what company do I want to go with for this experience, they're going to be culling down those tabs and maybe picking, the top 2 choices from that. We want to make sure that we've made that good impression and that we're one of those top 2 tabs. The second test to go through is, okay, now somebody's picked you as their potential option to go through with their time. Are you making the experience of going through and buying an experience from you easy, seamless, frictionless, and that it makes sense, that it answers all their questions that they have? And we do that through the buyer's journey test. So again, we're still putting ourselves in the headspace of that potential client. And we're thinking about, the great part is all of you work in your business on a day-to-day basis. You talk to your customers. You know what their concerns are, you know what their considerations are, you know that experience of somebody coming into your brick and mortar experience and saying, hey, I've got 3 kids, I've got a kid under 9, what would be the right tour or offering or experience for my family? And you know that you can guide them through that process in 30 seconds of just talking to them. And it's important to make sure that your website feels like that same experience where they come through onto the website and they understand each step of the journey, where they can find the right information to address their concerns or considerations. And it's just like talking to you in that store. So at Thomas, we look at this in 3 different stages. So we've got the homepage, the tour listing, and the tour detail. And thinking about how do we get people from each step of this process. And so that homepage, again, that's all about making that great first impression, giving off the right vibes that is going to appeal to your audience. And then from there, we're looking at what are those kind of basic core details that are going to help people make a consideration. Are you in their price range? Is really important. You don't want to waste people's time. We know a lot of these experiences are expensive, and we don't necessarily want somebody to get to the end of the journey only to find out that they're not in your price range. Availability and seasonality. If I'm coming to your area and I've got a Tuesday afternoon free, is there an offering that fits for me? And that's where you start to provide some structure for your offerings. That might be through a featured tour. So featured tours are, let's say you've got that main experience where everybody's coming in to your brick and mortar business, and they're just saying, hey, I'm coming to San Diego for the first time. And let's say you run a bike tour company. What's the tour that is just the bread and butter experience that all first timers should take? That might just be directly on the homepage and make it easy for somebody to just book right there. Or you might have your tour categories where it's really the first step in that process between, beachside bike tours or city bike tours or Segway tours or e-bike tours, and providing a good first step on this journey. And along each step of the way, as people dive in deeper, we're giving them opportunities to book now or to dive deeper in this process and learn more, again, as they might have considerations. And so on that tour listing page, that might be where we break into more of these categories. We might do a little curation in terms of grouping tours based on the audience, based on the experience, thinking about those questions that people have and helping guide them to the decision that they're going to have. One of the red flags that we want to look for at any step is, are we giving people too many options? If you go on the homepage and you've got all 30 of your tours, it's going to be really hard for somebody to just look at all 30, get a sense of what makes all 30 of those unique, figure out which one is the best fit for them, and continue that purchasing process. So we want to make sure that we're grouping all of our different tours, all of our different offerings in easy to digest chunks, and then driving people to the next step. So again, that might be through tour categories, that might be through certain curations, that might be through filtering or sorting options. And then finally, that kind of last step of the journey is that tour detail page. So that typically is that dedicated page around that specific tour or specific experience. And that's usually the last stop on the journey. It's the page that's got every kind of detail you can imagine, every question that somebody might have about, group size or age restrictions or accessibility, or, is there going to be food and water on this trip? Am I going to have access to bathrooms? Where do I park when I come to your business? Thinking about all those considerations that somebody might have when coming and choosing a journey. One of the things that we often see with our clients is they oftentimes don't have enough information, especially at this tour detail page. It's hard to have too much information. Certainly can be a challenge to organize it all in a way that makes sense, but if you're missing a key piece of information that somebody has, that might be the difference between them booking a tour and not booking a tour.
I think this is just a really helpful example to see how we can take away some of that decision fatigue while still leading them through purchasing. Like you mentioned, and I think a key point is that at each of these stages, at the home page, on the tour listing area, and in the tour details, you keep giving an option to purchase then. It's like, it's not that the buying journey doesn't mean that they're going to go to their homepage and then you're going to go to the tour listing page and then you're going to go to this tour detail breakdown. It simply means that you're giving multiple ways for different types of people to journey through to become one of your customers. And so if I'm just coming in and I just want to do what's most popular and I want to do it today because that's the only time I have left, boom, on your homepage, if I can quickly just go in and make a decision and purchase right now fast, then you're capturing me, where maybe if it's my husband wants to plan 3 months in advance, really wants to go through all the details of what the experience is going to be, then he can go through each, a little bit deeper in that buying journey and still get to the end and purchase. And I like that example, that we can give all of the information without it being overwhelming for the people who just want to make a quick decision.
Exactly. And it's all about making the experience frictionless. The kind of next big key piece to that is really making sure that we're understanding what makes each tour unique at each step. For just a quick visual metaphor here, we've got two sites that offer similar tours. Site 1 and Site 2 are competitors. Now, Site 1, you land on their homepage and you're trying to figure out whether I should do Tour A or Tour B. And, they're both similar in length, similar in price. They're appealing to the same kind of audience. It might as well be that they're just two gray blobs that you're picking between. There's not a clear sense of why would I choose Tour A over Tour B versus Site 2 that, they've got a tour that is their, budget half-day option that's great for kids versus Tour B that's much more their luxury full-day option that's geared towards couples. And so as you go on that site, you understand there's a clear differentiation between their offerings, and that's going to drive them further down that buyer's journey from, step A to step B. So as you're going through this process, we're looking for a few key points. Are we giving people enough information at each stage of the journey to help them make a decision and drive them further down that buyer's journey without giving too much of the information that it just feels overwhelming or just feels cluttered or just feels unnecessary? And so we want to make sure that each step of that is clear and that we're giving the right amount of information for people to either book then or dive deeper into that buyer's journey. We're also making sure that we're not giving people too many options. Again, if we have on our homepage or tour listing page 30 different options, how can we categorize those into maybe most popular, or maybe it's the length of the tour of the experience? Maybe we're breaking it up into audience. These are great for families. These are great for couples. All the different ways that we can organize that. And that's really understanding your audience, understanding the people that come into or contact your company with all these questions. You'll know your business the best, and thinking about what those kind of different ways that we can break those up so that it's a little bit more digestible is the key kind of takeaways as you go through that process. So we have a few examples that we'll walk through that help illustrate some of these points that we've talked through today. And so the first one is Arkansas River Tours. They're a whitewater rafting outfitter out of Colorado. And we designed their site here at Thomas, and this just launched in the spring. And as you'll notice, right off the bat, when you land on the site, it was important for us to make that great first impression. We've got this huge, awesome photo here that provides some visual context right off the bat of what they do. Oh, rafting looks great, looks very scenic. A bold headline that lets the user know right off the bat, best rafting in Colorado. We already get a sense from here about the different audiences and the trips that they offer, from family-friendly floats to premier Colorado whitewater. So we were already getting a sense of what they do and who their offerings appeal to, and then a strong call to action, find and book a trip right off the bat. But the piece we're really going to dial into is this featured trip section. So even though Arkansas River Tours has a number of different offerings, they've got half-day rafting trips, full-day rafting trips, multi-day trips, fishing trips, adventure packages. They're really, when they looked at the numbers, there's kind of 3 core trip areas that, you know, the vast majority of their customers fit into. And we wanted to highlight those right off the bat here on the homepage, from their kind of #1 trip. If you're coming in for the first time and you're just looking for the standard whitewater experience that they offer, they'll tell you right off the bat, it's going to be the Bighorn Sheep Canyon, and make it clear how to book, make it clear how to dive in deeper here with the trip details, and also some quick bullet points to let you know that it's great for first timers, good for families. They've got half day and full day options. And then they've got 2 other trips that kind of fill out all those different personas and customer segments that they have. And so they've got a trip that's a little bit more intense. It says right here for thrill seekers, world-class whitewater, and letting them know that, you know, if you are looking for something that's a little bit more intense than Bighorn Sheep Canyon, Royal Gorge is going to be the fit for you. And then finally, they know that there's, you know, a lot of families, maybe people that have seniors and young children as part of their group, that they also have a more gentle float that again is gentle and scenic. And they've got an option that covers that group as well.
Yeah, this is such a great example because the way that both visually you can see the differences, both with these icons, I can quickly look at this page and tell that I'm looking at different options. And now I can skim to see where I identify in these options. And so it helps me quickly make a decision, or having that trip details where I can go and dig a little bit deeper, really segments where I need to go next. Like, what is my next step as a buyer? They're removing decision-making options for buyers or for potential buyers by featuring these specific items, by having rafting be the main hero image. That's what they mainly do. That's their primary offering. That's what they're going to want to either generate the most revenue off of or really kind of funnel people into. And then they can upsell and add on with the other things that they offer.
Exactly. They make it as frictionless as possible. They're not asking somebody that's the average customer who is just going to want to take the Bighorn Sheep Canyon to come here and dig through a bunch of pages and, you know, read a bunch of text. They're making it clear, hey, if you're a first timer, this is probably the trip that you're going to want to take. And here's the process to how to get you into a raft, you know, as soon as possible. And then, you know, as we go down the homepage here, even though they're highlighting those 3 trips and prioritizing those just because they know that's where the majority of their customers are looking for, they're still also showcasing the multi-day, their private offerings, as well as their guided fishing trips and their specialty packages. So they're not ignoring their other offerings, but they understand that there's, you know, a sense of hierarchy to the offerings and experiences that they have, and making sure their homepage reflects that, just as they would if somebody came into their store and said, hey, I want to take that. What's your most popular trip? What should I do with my family? They're going to tell them the Bighorn Sheep Canyon rafting trip. And so the homepage reflects that experience.
Yeah, such a great example.
And then our next example is Monterey Touring Vehicles. And so this is a classic car rental company out of California. And so it's all about, you know, taking a classic car on US Highway 1 along the California coast through Big Sur And right off the bat, what's great about this website is they have an awesome hero video that instantly gives you that context and that vibe. You get a sense of the experience. You can already picture yourself in a nice classic car or a Tesla driving down Highway 1 along the sunset, seeing the California coast, seeing the Pacific Ocean. And so it sets that experience right off the bat. Well, also, as you quickly go down their homepage, you get a sense of what they do and what their kind of main offering categories are. So that's that first step in that buyer's journey. But the thing I want to focus on specifically with this one is that education piece, and is that piece of, okay, I'm putting myself in the mind of that user who is new to this experience and has never done this before. Again, you know your business inside and out, and it might seem like it is very simple to you. Even just something as simple as, you know, renting a car might seem straightforward, but they've broken down the process really easy in terms of, you know, picking your car as the first step of the process. It tells you right off the bat that you're going to have a minimum rental period of 4 hours, and that it includes a full tank of gas. You know, it lets you know what you need to rent a car in terms of a driver's license, insurance, and then talks a little bit about what that adventure looks like, from doing a brief orientation at the start and doing a quick test drive. And so you might want to bake in a little bit of extra time on your trip to go through this process before you start your journey down the California coast. So again, this site does a great job, again, of introducing the experience with that great video, giving you a sense of the categories of what they offer, and then making it clear on how it works and educating any potential customers in terms of the process. So it's not intimidating as they go in and get closer to booking. So, you know, really as we wrap this up, it's like we said, you know, putting yourself in the headspace of that potential client and running through these two exercises. Are you making the right first impression with the TAB test? If you open up your 10 competitors in Google, you know, are you going to be the one that somebody picks? And if not, what can you do to improve that first impression? Again, maybe it's improving photos, maybe it's getting some more engaging videos, maybe it's getting a cleaner design. There's a number of ways to do that. And then also just looking at the buyer's journey. Does every step of the process make sense? Are you giving people clear reasons to choose tour A over tour B? Are you overwhelming your potential customers at any stage of the process? Are you not giving the right amount of detail? Are you missing some key details that might be the difference between somebody booking or not booking? And so by doing those two tests, we think you'll just have a much better understanding of where your website sits and, you know, where you can improve it from there.
Beautiful. I really appreciate all this info, Ben, and I know that the operators watching this are probably going to be excited to incorporate some of these features into their own websites. But I do also know that sometimes diving into the technology world can be a little bit daunting, and so sometimes it's helpful to either hire someone or work with somebody else to help implement these kind of changes. So do you maybe want to share a little bit about what Thomas offers, or how you guys can help outside of maybe these two specific tests?
Yeah, so Thomas, we're a full service marketing agency. We do a number of website development and design services. So we're always happy to meet with clients and to take a look at their website and help run them through these exercises themselves and do that audit in terms of helping them figure out how to improve that user journey, how to improve that conversion rate. So if you're looking at your website and realizing that it's not standing up to your competition, or, you know, there's some major hurdles in that buyer's journey, we're always happy to talk and happy to see how we can improve that process and improve your website so that it brings more customers in and converts them, you know, and brings them into your experience.
Great. Well, awesome. That's all we have time for today. And I really, really appreciate you taking some time to dive into those two tests that we can incorporate into the websites that all the operators have already. So thank you, Ben, and we'll talk soon.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye.